Welcome to the Press Box, a presentation of the Dispatch and the Rock Island Argus Sports Department, sponsored by Zeglin's TV and Appliance. My name is Daniel Makarewicz, sports reporter for the Dispatch Argus. To my left is Mr. D.J. Jarvis, also a sports writer for the Dispatch and the Rock Island Argus. D.J., before we delve into Week 5, and we're surpassed the halfway point almost of the 2016 football season, I wanted to talk about briefly the kneeling demonstration by the Rock Island High School football team on Friday before its Western Big Six Conference opener at Alleman. First off, one quick question. You're a Rock Island graduate. How did you feel with that demonstration by those players?
It's kind of been a lot of emotion since Friday night. Originally, I was kind of upset about it. I've talked to a lot of people about it. My dad, who's a military guy, I've talked to some coaches who have put their input on it. And I respect them for doing it, and especially after I found out that they went and talked to Storts.
Right.
That's a lot. They're accepting the responsibility that they're doing it, and they're accepting, some of the repercussions from it as well.
I have had countless people text me, email me, stop me, on the street, grocery store, whatever, asking me my opinion on it. And I go back and forth, and I'm not a political activist. I'm not a social activist. That's just not who I am. I'm more of a person that believes more in integrity, and your actions speak louder than words. And the way I look at it, I was there, I saw it, and it wasn't appalling to me. I saw it, and I just carried on with the National Anthem. The way I look at it is, they knelt. I get that. But they were looking at the flag, or they were at least they're facing the flag. Right. How many people in the stands, whether it be at that game or any other type of sporting event, are on their cell phone, do not have their hand over their heart, are not singing along with the National Anthem, or they're talking to somebody in the stands? Okay, at least these players were kneeling. They weren't doing any other gestures at all. So to me, I didn't think it was as disrespectful as some people perceive it, because they weren't doing anything other than just kneeling.
I agree.
Now, both grandfathers served in the military, one in Korea, one in World War II. My sister's boyfriend is in the military right now. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the military, for people who have defended our flag. But you can't judge somebody for demonstrating during that if you have been on your cell phone,
right,
or not been honoring the flag in the way it should be. And also, they're demonstrating a freedom of speech. And yes,
correct,
you have the freedom of speech to be upset with what they did, to voice your opinion. But you can't exercise your right of free speech and criticize them when they were exercising their right of free speech.
Right.
And the last thing I'll say about it is, I would much rather have a demonstration that's peaceful than one that's dangerous, that is crime-ridden or looting. I think that we as a society need to take a look at this and see, how can we improve? How can we do better? So that's how I stand on it. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm not saying that I'm chastising it. But if that is a peaceful form of protest, to me, is better than the alternative. So that's how I feel about it.
I had spoken to my dad, because he fought in the Air Force.
Right.
My grandpa was a Marine. And he says this kneeling is actually giving credence to everything that he fought for, because they are exercising their right to do what they want. And then last night, speaking to a coach, they said that kneeling's actually, they feel like it's a sign of respect. You kneel in church.
Correct.
When your coach is speaking to you, you kneel in front of your coach.
Correct.
When somebody gets hurt, you kneel until they're off the field. And that's a sign of respect, and that's what they were doing. And
they weren't breaking any Big Six policy. They weren't breaking school policy. The IHSA came out today. I got a response from them on it, and they said that they said that they weren't breaking any rules either. So let's get off the disrespect chain and all that sort of stuff, and let's just, hey, it was a form of protest, and everybody's going to be upset one way or the other, or support it, but they were exercising their right to freedom of speech, which in this country you have, and you are allowed to do that. And Coach Storts, the school, they talked about it beforehand.
And don't we teach our kids to fight for what they believe in?
Correct. And in this way, this was, to me, it was a form of protest that they didn't put their fists in the air. They were just there exercising their right to freedom of speech. So the big game this week, now we got to talk more football about it. Not a good segue on my part, but Rock Island goes to Quincy. Rock Island's 27-2 against the Blue Devils since 1987. Both losses came in Quincy in 2010 to 2014. Do the Rocks have a chance? Quincy is good at home. Quincy is playing well. I know Rock Island's playing well, but Quincy at home is dangerous and is playing well. What do you think about that?
It's going to come down to blue-collar football.
Correct.
How well Rock Island, one, stops the run. When I saw them against Alton, they just weren't very good against the run. And obviously, Quincy's got a pair of really good running backs.
Great running backs, good athletes. And Moline, to me, this is they have to win one of a possible 3 games in the Western Big Six, either hosting Galesburg, at Rock Island, or at Quincy. The one that they get at home, this is not a must-win, but this would help them in the playoff situation if they were able to win. Alleman United Township, both 0-4. Alleman, first time they're 0-2 in the Big Six since 2008. First time they're 0-4 overall since 1993. I like Alleman to handle their business against UT. Some good area matchups with Mercer County hosting Anawan Weathersfield and Rockridge hosting Orion out there. Those two matchups, you would think home team on paper, but the road teams have a pretty good offenses, pretty good defenses too. One home team's going to win. One road team will lose. I'll go on a limb there. I'll put you on the spot. Which home team wins? Which visiting team wins?
I think Rockridge wins.
Okay.
I think they defend the home field.
Okay.
There's a lot of weapons. Federer stepped in seamlessly at quarterback, and then they have Parchert at running back,
Right.
and Federer can also. He runs the ball real well. I know that Orion's got an amazing pass attack as well, but there's just something about Rockridge, and they play at home too. It's loud there, and they get the team rearing ready to go.
So then you're saying Anawan Weathersfield goes to George Pratt Memorial Field and takes care of business.
He would do that when I have to cover that game.
Well,
he would say it that way.
I would look at it this way, that it should be a great game because Mercer County struggled a little bit offensively, and Coach Hofer said that, but their defense has only allowed 23 points the last 3 weeks. Anawan Weathersfield, and I'm writing about this in Friday's edition, 26 players, but they have a lot of depth offensively, a lot of skill position. And they lead the Lincoln Trail Conference in scoring offense and scoring defense, so that should be a good game. And one other game I want to highlight, Geneseo 4-0 hosting Sterling 4-0, both state ranked, both high-powered offenses, both good defenses. I really think this is the first time Geneseo is going to be tested. That's going to be a tough game, even though it's at home. I think that'll be a tough game, and I think no matter what, whether they win or lose, it's a test. It's really going to see what Geneseo's made of, and I think that they need that right now.
Sterling's always tough.
They have the most wins against Geneseo of any opponent Geneseo's ever faced.
The only thing I kind of look at is they kind of handled Cahokia 2 weeks ago, and obviously that was a good test. Obviously Sterling's a different animal. They know
Sterling's athletic there,
and they know what Geneseo's about.
Team.
But it's tough to win at Bybreed Field.
Last discussion item. Mark Nestler and I did the fantasy team. He thinks he's Mr. Fantasy. He's getting his butt kicked, apparently. That's why he's not here. He'll say he's somewhere else, but he just didn't want to face the music. Let's see how my team is doing, and let's hear about it.
Well, your group of froze.
All right, I like
scored 49.6 points. We went with the PPR format.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You get a point for catching the ball, basically.
Okay, all right.
Jacob Ellis had 4 catches, so you got 4 points there. And then Devin Smith had a catch, so you got a point there. Ness scored 18.98, so we'll give him 19 points. We'll make
That's
it
still terrible. Yeah, that's embarrassing.
He cut Maffey, who
threw what, 4 touchdown passes?
Yeah, 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Difference of over 20 points. Over his waiver pickup. So that would have you still would have won. It would have doubled his output, as well as you could have had that running back from Moline Diallo. Scored 20 fantasy points as well.
And it's amazing. I know nothing about fantasy sports. I don't participate in fantasy sports, but it's so great that somehow I can back my way into being good at fantasy sports.
To be fair, most of Ness's fantasy knowledge is, hey, DJ, what should I do this week? Okay. So, I mean, he didn't ask me before he drafted his team, so there's his flaw.
And the best part is you'll be on the press box next week with Mark Nessler when he's back, so you can explain that dynamic to him. So I think we pretty much covered everything. A lot on the plate. It's going to be a great Friday night of football. We hope to see you at a game. If not, make sure to pick up a copy of the Dispatch and the Rock Island Argus Saturday. And Zeglin's, thanks for your sponsorship. Thanks for your time this time. Until next time, so long for just a while.